the total number of confirmed cases of novel coronavirus infection in the Chinese mainland climbed to 17,205, and 21,558 people were suspected of being infected with the virus, according to China's National Health Commission. A total of 361 people had died of the disease. 475 people had been discharged from hospital after recovery. That's good news. These are not numbers. These are lives, families, communities. This is going to be an unforgettable Spring Festival for the Chinese, as families are separated but united to stand together in the face of the epidemic. The safety and health of the people always come first, and thus the prevention and control of the outbreak is the country's most important work for now. The Chinese government attaches great importance to the epidemic. President Xi has repeatedly given important instructions on prevention and control work, and personally held a meeting on the first day of the Lunar New Year for redeployment and remobilization. And many of our friends here at that time were celebrating with us in the Chinese Temple Fair in the China Culture Center. That's the biggest, the largest, most important traditional holiday for the Chinese, and the Chinese leaders were all working. Under the leadership and personal commitment of President Xi, China has built a nationwide prevention and control system focusing on Wuhan, the epicenter, and Hubei. Wuhan is the capital city of Hubei province. From the central government to the local level, and work in all aspects is on the way. All aspects of work are open and transparent, and we are speeding up progress in a scientific and orderly manner. All things considered, the epidemic can be contained, controlled, and treated. The Chinese nation has gone through great winds and waves and overcome countless difficulties. We believe that under the leadership of the Communist Party of China and the Chinese government, the people of the whole country will unite as one and be fully capable and confident to win this battle of epidemic prevention and control at an early date. The 1,000-bed makeshift hospital in Wuhan, which was built in 9 days and is in full operation today, speaks volumes. And the day after tomorrow, another hospital with 1,500 beds will be put into full use. These two hospitals were all built within 10 days, and you can see the determination of the Chinese to fight this deadly disease. Fighting the spread of epidemic is a common concern of the international community. China is willing to work with other countries in the world, including Nigeria, to respond to the epidemic actively. We have informed WHO, World Health Organization, relevant countries, and China's Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan region of the latest epidemic situation, and have shared information on virus gene sequences with all parties at the first time. We have taken the most comprehensive and rigorous containment and mitigation measures, and many of them go well beyond the requirements of the International Health Regulations, 2005 version. By doing so, China is not only protecting the health of its people, but also that of people around the world. Such efforts are fully recognized by many governments as well as WHO. As WHO Director General Dr. Tedros said on many occasions, China deserves gratitude and respect for its effort to contain the outbreak, and that China's experience is worth learning for other countries. As he sees it, China has in fact taken more measures to contain the outbreak than it is required to do in case of an emergency. And China is setting a new standard for outbreak responses for other countries. We thank the international community, including Nigeria, for its full understanding and support for China. As you are aware, last Thursday, WHO declared the outbreak a PHERC, public health emergency of international concern. As Director General, Dr. Tedros clearly stated, the main reason for this declaration is not because of what is happening in China. It is about protecting countries with weaker health systems and which are ill-prepared to deal with potential spread. WHO continues to have confidence in China's capacity to control the outbreak. There is no reason for measures that unnecessarily interfere with international travel and trade. WHO does not recommend limiting trade and movement. The Director General's recommendations should be seriously considered. Under current circumstances, solidarity is what the world needs. The epidemic is occurring mainly in China, with limited spread to other countries. China has made enormous contribution to the world with its concrete actions. All countries should adopt a responsible attitude, work together to combat the virus, and avoid overreaction that may result in more negative spillover effects. Life comes first. The Chinese government is committed to safeguarding the safety and health of the Chinese people. We will, in a responsible manner, safeguard the safety of every foreign national in China, including the Nigerian expatriates, and address their legitimate concerns in a timely manner. The embassy has kept constant touch with the UN Embassy in China, and up to now, there is no Chinese nationals here in Nigeria or Nigerian nationals in China are affected by the epidemic. We will continue to strengthen communication and cooperation with the international community and work hand in hand for epidemic prevention and control. Finally, I would like to echo what Dr. Tedros, the Director General of the WTO, pointed out last Thursday during the press conference. The WTO announced the emergency. And I quote, "This is a time for facts, not fear. This is a time for science, not rumors. This is a time for solidarity, not stigma," end of quote. And I thank you very much. Now, I'm willing to answer any questions you may very much. From the Chinese side, as I mentioned just now, we take the health of the Chinese citizens and foreign nationals, including our Nigerian friends in China, equal treatment. And the measures, as I said, according to WHO, China has taken the measures more than is required than an emergency, as WHO sees it. We have keep very smooth communication with the foreign nationals, the foreign embassies in China, to keep them fully confirmed of the measures. So, and I should say, the measures, it's still, we are still very adaptive to the situation. So from in China, I think the measures has been there. And here, as residents of Abuja, we in the embassy lose no sleep about the epidemic, because we can tell Nigerian government, following the advice of WHO, has taken very rational and appropriate measures. And we believe with the joint efforts from the international community, we can prevent and we can curb the spread of the epidemic. Thank you. Embassy is in normal operation, nothing affected. But you can see, as the Chinese going abroad, and we follow the recommendations of the WHO, it's not conducive to the situation to put unnecessary measures. And so we here are in normal cooperation. But as individuals, they may assess the situation. So we also think the response and the guidance from Nigerian government is very smart and appropriate. And they advise for you travel, if that is not so urgent, you may consider delaying it. But from the embassy, the visa issues and other issues were in normal operation.
Okay, thank you.
Very much for your good question. You see, apparently, in the short time, the economy will feel the impact of the epidemic. Because you see, in China, we have taken very strong, very rigorous measures, like extension of the holidays, and even some factories and businesses are not in full operation after the festival. So in the short time, it will feel the heat of the epidemic. But according to China's experience, we are not here for the first time to face such an epidemic. You may remember 2003, the SARS outbreak, and 2008, the earthquake. We believe we will get over it soon, because the fundamentals of the Chinese economy will not be affected by the epidemic. So with the victory over the epidemic, the economy will pick up, and we have confidence to achieve our goal for today, and we have confidence to China's economic and trade cooperation with the international world. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much. On your first question, as I said, this is the time for science. So the recommendations of WHO is very important for us to fight the epidemic together. And for the Chinese nationals who went back home for the Spring Festival, apparently they wish to get back as scheduled. But I can tell you, not only to Nigeria, even the Chinese nationals to other countries, they are now also reconsider their plans. Why? They will assess, because if it's not that urgent, to reduce their own risk, they may choose to stay at home longer. But if it's necessary to travel as planned, as we see it, once they followed the travel advisories and followed the measures, we still think it's normal for people to travel beyond the borders. And from the embassy, as I said, We take this issue, like your government and your embassy in Beijing, very seriously. So we are trying all what we can to pass the information among the Chinese community here in Nigeria, whether they are back at home in China or still now here in Nigeria, the awareness of the epidemic is very important, and try to do some prevention by yourself, follow the directions. But on the whole, as I said, it is of the individual's choice, and I think everybody should take their risk, their own safety and health very seriously. So up to now, we see the Chinese community in Nigeria, they have taken this issue seriously, but I should say, life is still normal here, and we wish everybody will make his unique and own contribution to the curb of the spread of the epidemic. And your second question, and I think the health cooperation between China and the outside world, between China and Nigeria, and China and Africa, is an important part of China's external relations. As you can remember, the health cooperation is one of the 8 major initiatives we put forward in the FOCAC summit back in 2018. But after the announcement of the PHIEC, I think the Chinese relevant authorities has strengthened its communication and cooperation with the foreign counterparts. From our side, we're open and we're willing to strengthen the cooperation in this area. But as you can understand, the cooperation will be on a case-by-case basis. So once any requirement, any request raised from foreign friends, I think the Chinese relevant authorities will consider it seriously. Thank you.